Hello friends, Christian here with BrickLifeCrisis. This channel is recommended for adult fans of LEGO and teen fans of LEGO. If you are younger than the age of 13, you're welcome to watch, but first, get your parents' permission. Hello friends, Christian here with BrickLifeCrisis, and today is Wednesday, so Wildcard Wednesday. This is something a little bit different even than what we've looked at recently. This is not a retro edition set. This is the 25th anniversary edition set, which came out back in 2007. So this has been around for a little while. Inside, we have 5 reimagined G.I. Joes. So we have Duke, Scarlett, Gung Ho, Snake Eyes, and Roadblock. There's some really nice artwork here featuring all of them. There's kind of an interesting display stand. There's a feature in the package that if you press the star, it makes sound. And there are 3 AAA batteries in here, but these AAA batteries are 14 years old. So they are dead at this point. And so that function is not working. I'm a little bit afraid to see inside that to see what kind of acid corrosion has occurred. You can see 3 batteries included. There's a look at that 25th Anniversary Edition logo. Recommended for ages 5 and up. Some really nice artwork along the sides and the back. Very cool. And this is the cover of G.I. Joe #1. I think I still have that comic somewhere in a box. And there's a little blurb about G.I. Joe, and that is the second tank that came out. I think that's, I want to say the Marauder. Anyway, without any further ado, let's open it up. So there are some directions on the bottom of the box that, in theory, tell you how to open this, well, they call it a collector case, but it says to cut the tape on the side and then from the bottom, but I don't see any tape on the side of this. There's not a seal of tape, so I'm not sure how to get into this without destroying the packaging. This might take a little bit of work. Alright, that was a struggle, and I think I damaged the box slightly, but oh well. Yeah, I did. Dang it. So this is that G.I. Joe. I don't know what it is. It's not a display stand. There's no figure stand or anything on it. But anyway, in theory, you can push the star and some sound will come out. You can see where the speaker is. But the batteries, of course, in this 14-year-old set are no good. So I'm going to open it up and put some fresh batteries in there. Okay. Not quite as corroded as I might have thought. Let's put some fresh batteries in and see what we can do with that. Alright, some fresh batteries. Flip it on. Alright, that was kind of cool. Alright, so it looks like there's only the 2 sounds. There's the longer version and then the quick one. Nice inclusion, I suppose. Alright, this is cool. We get a full set of the file cards for these guys. So first up we have the first Sergeant, Duke. I'll leave that there for a second. You can pause it and read it if you want. Next up we have the Counterintelligence Officer, Scarlett. The Commando, Snake Eyes. The Heavy Machine Gunner, Roadblock. And finally the Marine, Gung Ho. So unlike the new quote-unquote retro figures that have been released recently at Walmart. These are the full file cards, and they come, they're pre-cut and they're finished nicely in black on the back. The other ones, the old ones, first of all, you had to cut out from the back of the card, but these are cut nicely for you. And then these are complete. The ones that are available now only have a little bit of information for each character, but they have it in several languages, so you get a lot less information on the new cards, which is unfortunate. But anyway, it's nice to see a full complement of those.
So this is Gung Ho, the Marine, and he includes a stand with his name on it. Unlike these new Retro Series figures, these stands only have a single foot peg, and that makes it a little bit tricky to get them to stand, particularly with this particular Gung Ho that I have, because his legs are really loose and he doesn't like to stand up straight. So he falls, even with the foot in the peg on the stand, he falls pretty easily. And of course there he stood. But anyway, just something to be aware of. This guy has some nice equipment. He's got his grenade launcher, which can open for reloading, which is pretty slick.
And Gung Ho includes his stand, his vest, backpack, M1911, and a grenade launcher. The grenade launcher, incidentally, is kind of cool because it has a break in it so that you can pretend to be reloading. So that's kind of cool. The original that came out back in 83, 84, or whatever, had a sling on it so that you could sling it over his shoulder, but this is still pretty cool. I dig it.
He has a sidearm which is holstered, but it is removable. So that's looks like a 45 that he's got there. He has his backpack, which is removable, and the vest, as I showed you, is removable. He's got some camouflage pants and some gray boots, and those are a really nice sculpt. He's got some ammunition for the grenade launcher there on the side. The tattoo, unfortunately, is a little weak, only in that the print application isn't great, so it's a little bit tough to see. His cap is really nice, and he's got the Marine insignia there. He's got another elbow pad or strap over here on the one side, and I guess that's a watch. This might just be a wristband. His web belt is pretty good. The camouflage is well done, but it's a pretty nice sculpt. He looks a little odd without the vest.
With his vest removed, he somehow looks less menacing. The arms are a little thin, maybe, and yeah, just I think he looks better with the vest on, but it is removable, as you can see. You get a little bit better look at the tattoo. It's pretty light, unlike the original figure, which was too dark, but it was easier to see. That one is more realistic for a faded tattoo, but it's a little bit tougher to see the Marine logo there.
All of these figures actually tend to be a little bit skinny, in my opinion. This guy, of course, is pretty well built in the chest, but you know, his arms in comparison look a little thin, and I find that with most of these newer G.I. Joe, the remake figures, they're taller. These figures are about 4 inches instead of 3 3/4 inch. Even though they still call it a 3 3/4 inch scale, they're a little bit taller than the originals from the 80s. But this one's nicely detailed. I think he's pretty good. And here we have Scarlett. This was one of my favorite characters as a kid. First of all, because she was the only female initially, but I just thought she was cool. She had a crossbow, and her costume was interesting. And this is a fairly good reproduction of, or reimagining of, that character. She does have the crossbow, and let's take a closer look at that. This one is a little different than the one she came with back in the day, of course. The bow and string part come off, and then I guess you could imagine this is like a little blaster or something, but I prefer the crossbow. I think that's kind of a cool accessory. She also includes this sidearm, which looks like a little 9mm or something like that. She has a quiver of additional arrows on her belt, and the figure is pretty well done. She has what looks like a knife sheathed over here on the one side. She's got some pockets on her boots. Of course, the boots have high heels because, you know, she's got to be in fashion. But I like the coloring with this kind of bluish gray and the tan. Of course, she has a signature red patch up there on the side. She has a grenade on the other shoulder, and then she has a nice long red ponytail. She has a holstered sidearm there, which is not removable. And then again, there's her quiver and the gloves. Just a nice figure overall. She has a pretty good face sculpt as well, I think. Let's see if we can get a better look at that. Some focus. There we go. So that's a really nice face and some nice detail on the figure. I'm fairly pleased with this one. So she, of course, comes with her stand as well, with her name printed on it. And again, just a single peg. And the problem with that is, for her especially, the peg holes are up front at the toe rather than at the heel, because it's a high heel, so they can't really do that. So it's she can fit on there, but it's a little bit trickier, and she tends to lean forward a little bit. But it's not too bad. She also, I forgot to mention, she has these ninja stars on the one glove. There's nothing on the other, but some nice detailing there. The articulation on this figure is slightly different in that there's no wrist articulation. So instead, she kind of can twist about halfway up. You see how the glove moves, and then right above that at the elbow. And then, of course, she has the roughly the same splay on the legs. She has a weird double jointedness to her knees, which is a little odd. But and then she's got the ankle, and that can turn as well. So it's pretty good. It's just a little bit different than the others. She has a little bit of up and down, side to side at the neck. And then for the waist, she can turn just below chest level so that she can turn from side to side a little bit. And yeah, that's about it for her. Pretty good figure. Again, I like the face sculpt. Just overall, I think this is a pretty good figure. And next up is Roadblock, the heavy machine gunner. And of course, he has the figure stand with his name printed on it as well. This guy's pretty well done. He's got black boots, some brown pants. There's some kind of contraption over here. I'm not sure what that is, actually. On the other side, he's got a giant belt, or pouch, rather. I'm not sure what might be in that. It's not big enough, really, to be ammunition for the machine gun that he comes with, but he's got some fairly burly looking arms with some pads and gloves. He's got a grenade on his straps and some pockets and that sort of thing. So as you can see, he's got a pretty good face sculpt. His helmet is removable, so you can get a little bit better look at that. Nicely done there. He's got a camouflage tank top on. You can remove these straps if you wish, and in fact, let's go ahead and do that and get a little bit better look at the figure all the way around. So his articulation, much like the rest of the Joes, he turns at the chest rather than the waist. These arms are a little bit stiff, but he can rotate all the way around at the shoulder and at the elbow. He can bend at the elbow. His wrists can turn and twist just a little bit. You'll notice that his hands are open really, really wide, and that's so that he can hold the rather large weapon that we'll take a look at in a moment. But he's got camouflage tank top, some nice sculpting there, some nice strong looking arms, strong back. This is a pretty good figure. His waist is a little bit narrow compared to the rest of him, but once he has the straps on, it doesn't look so bad. Yeah, that is Roadblock. Now let's take a look at his weapon. All right, and this is his 50 caliber machine gun. It includes an ammo belt and an ammo box that has a peg on it, so you can use it like a backpack. The machine gun is the same color and stuff as the original, but it's a little bit different design. And there's the tripod and the machine gun. But this is a pretty good representation of the 50 cal, and it works well. I do remember on the original Roadblock that he had a backpack, and the tripod would actually kind of fit over the backpack. It doesn't do it in this case. The hole's not the same size, but you could go over it like that, and so he could actually wear the tripod on his back, kind of like this. It was a little awkward, but it worked. So anyway, that is the 50 cal, the ammo box, and the ammo belt. Other than the straps and the helmet, he doesn't have any other accessories. There's no sidearm or anything like that, but he's still fairly well equipped. And as I mentioned with this hand in particular, the left hand, it is large so that he can hold the belt of the gun, and then the other hand can hold the grip or the handle. So that is the way he's supposed to hold this thing, I guess, as he's walking around carrying it. You got to be a pretty burly guy to handle a 50 cal like that. Next up, we have fan favorite Snake Eyes. This is very similar to the Retro Series edition that we just looked at. A big difference here is his equipment. He, of course, has the Snake Eyes figure stand, again with just the one peg, unfortunately. He has the same Uzi submachine gun that the Retro Series has, and he has a different pouch. So the explosives pouch that he comes with this time is more of a satchel. I mean, it's nicely detailed, frankly better detailed than the one that came with the Retro Series, but the Retro Series is actually a retro version of the original. He has a knife sheath and a knife, and that can be, oops, it's just kind of stuck in there. There you go. So the knife can be removed, so that's nice. And then he's got some different straps as well. These are more like just tactical backpack straps. He's got some pockets around, that sort of thing. And then over here, he has a pouch, or a sidearm rather, sheath. Take out his sidearm. It is what appears to be a 9mm or something like that. So that's cool. I apologize, the contrast between the black table and the figure make things a little tough to see. So I took this off. You can see the holster there for the sidearm, the web belt. There's some pockets and stuff on the straps. You've got a grenade on this side, some more pockets around the other end and the back. So nice straps, and then the front is where it comes together at the belt buckle. So that works out nicely. And here's another quick look at the Uzi. This Uzi does not come with any suppressors or anything, it's just that. And then he has a combat knife, a Bowie knife, something like that. Then the explosive satchel, and it says explosives right there on the side. So that's a nicely detailed pouch. And then he has his little pistol. And then this is the figure himself, and this is Snake Eyes. This head is far more reminiscent of the actual original 80s version 1 of Snake Eyes. The Retro Series 1 actually had a closer representation of the Series 2 head. So anyway, this figure is pretty well done, and actually more in proportion, I think, chest to waist and that sort of thing than a lot of the other figures. He's got pretty much all black and some dark gray. The articulation, he can articulate at the ankle, and he can also twist at the ankle. Of course, he can bend at the hip and at the knee, and then again at the knee, so that he can get into that kind of a position. Then at the wrist, he can twist. At the elbow, he can twist and bend. And at the shoulder, he can go a full 360 and splay up and down, that sort of thing. And at the waist, or just below the chest, actually, he moves. Same thing at the head. He's got up and down, side to side. And then as far as the sculpt goes, it's pretty good. Some pocket detail and that sort of thing. And then some kind of maybe communications device or a detonator on that side. He's got some knee pads there, the sheath for the knife, and yeah, pretty well done. Another pocket over on this side. But yeah, Snake Eyes is a very cool figure, and this one is fairly well equipped without being over equipped. The retro version comes with 3 swords, 2 sidearms, 2 combat knives, the Uzi. There's just too much stuff. This guy is very well equipped without it being overkill. So I'm very pleased with this guy. And finally, we have Duke. Duke is, I think he was a second wave character in the original series. And according to the cartoon and eventually the comic, he was kind of the leader of the Joes. He wasn't the original leader, though. I think the original leader was Hawk, and then once Duke came along, he became the leader. He has some nice accessories. We'll take a look at those in just a second. Of course, he has the figure stand with his name on it. So he's done up fairly nicely. He has a couple of accessories. First off, he has this very small, almost inconsequential, it's really too small set of binoculars. So small that you can not even really see them very well on the camera. In addition to that, he has this M16 variant or M4 variant with the grenade launcher underneath, and that's done fairly nicely. And then he has a 45 that is holstered, but it is removable, so we can pull that out, and that's pretty good. And then he has this bandolier on that has some grenades and that sort of thing. He also has a removable helmet. So let's take all of that stuff off and get a better look at the figure. Alright, so here's Duke. He's got a pretty good face sculpt, as you can see. He has his airborne wings there, fairly large shirt pockets, and buttons done up in gold. He's got his web belt that have a few pockets on them. And then there's his holster. He's got brown boots, green pants. He has the American flag on the one sleeve. And yeah, he's done fairly well. The articulation is pretty much the same, of course, at the shoulder, elbow, wrist. This one, though, the wrists that kind of go way back, and it's a little bit flimsy. And the weird thing is, there's no way to get him in a position to even try to hold those binoculars in a way that makes sense. You just can't get the arms and the hands, it doesn't work. So that's a bit of a miss. So the articulation is good, there's just not enough range of motion to be able to get him into the proper position for those binoculars. But anyway, that's the biggest miss for me on this one, is just the articulation, so he can't get the binoculars in the right position, and even if he could, he can't hold them very well. They're just too small. But the figure itself is pretty good, and I do like this weapon. I think that's pretty good as well. So that's it, the 5-pack of G.I. Joes, the 25th Anniversary Edition, with Roadblock, Snake Eyes, Duke, Gung Ho, and Scarlett. I don't recall what the original retail price was on this set. It was exclusive to Toys R Us, and I want to say it was somewhere in the $30 to $50 range, which would have been fair. I was actually able to pick this up for not much more than that on eBay. I got very lucky and was able to get this, I think, for $60. And then I paid a little bit for shipping, so it wasn't too bad. I see these sell for upwards of $150, close to $200 frequently. So I was very pleased to be able to get this. Yeah, very, very cool. I also have the Cobra set that I'll be reviewing sometime soon. But for now, this has been G.I. Joe 25th Anniversary Editions of Scarlett, Gung Ho, Duke, Snake Eyes, and Roadblock. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take care. Bye for now.